Today, we're diving into a speech so revolutionary it has literally shaped civilizations for 2,000 years, this Sermon on the Mount. You could call it a manifesto for a completely different way of life, and we're about to find out why.
I mean, you've almost certainly heard of it, right? It gets quoted by everyone, from theologians to political leaders. Its ideas have woven their way into laws, ethics, and entire cultures for centuries.
But beyond all the famous one-liners, what's the actual core message? What makes this sermon so radical, so enduring? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack that original blueprint. We're going to explore this blueprint in 5 key parts. We'll start with its radical upside-down kingdom values, and we'll end with its powerful metaphor about building your life on solid rock. So, let's start with the setting.
Okay, so picture this scene. Jesus, he's pretty early in his ministry, and he's already drawing these massive crowds. So he leads them up a mountainside, sits down like a teacher would, and gets ready to deliver what's going to become the foundational manifesto of his entire message. And you know, this isn't just some random lecture. This moment is so deliberate. The teaching that's about to come isn't about adding more rules to a religious checklist. No, it's about a complete transformation of the human heart. It's a blueprint for a whole new way of living.
He kicks things off with a series of declarations that we now call the Beatitudes. And these statements just turn the world's values completely upside down. They totally redefine what it means to be truly blessed or happy.
So this is the very first value of this new kingdom. And right away, it's just completely counterintuitive. I mean, the world says, blessed are the confident, the self-sufficient, the ones who have it all together. Jesus says the exact opposite. So what does this even mean?
Being poor in spirit, it doesn't mean having low self-esteem or anything like that. It's this profound state of humility. It's the foundational recognition that we are completely dependent on God for everything. It's just an honest admission of how much we need Him.
And here's another one that really challenges our modern instincts. We tend to think that the aggressive, the loud, the powerful people are the ones who get ahead, right? They're the ones who inherit the earth. But again, Jesus presents a totally different path.
And this really gets at the true meaning of meekness. It's not weakness, not at all. It's harnessed power. It's strength that is deliberately kept under control. It's choosing to be gentle when you have every reason and every right to retaliate. It's a disciplined strength of character.
So after blessing those who mourn and those who hunger for what's right, Jesus wraps up this section with this startling command, to rejoice, even when you're facing persecution. The point is crystal clear. God's favor isn't tied to worldly success, but to a person's inner character and their faithfulness.
So if this is the internal character of the kingdom, how does it actually impact the outside world? Well, Jesus answers this with 2 powerful metaphors that we still use all the time today.
He says his followers are supposed to be salt and light. Now, salt in the ancient world was a preservative. It literally stopped decay, and of course it added flavor. So believers are meant to be this preserving influence in the culture. And like a light on a hill, their good works aren't for their own glory, but to light up the goodness of God for everyone to see.
Now, this is a really pivotal statement. A lot of people listening might have thought these new teachings were meant to just abolish all the old Jewish laws, but Jesus clarifies his purpose right away. He didn't come to get rid of the law, but to reveal its truest, deepest meaning. And this is the core of what he means by fulfill. Where the old law focused on external actions, like do not murder, Jesus goes way deeper, right to the source. He teaches that the root of murder is unchecked anger in the heart. The root of adultery is lust. He shifts the entire focus from outward behavior to inward transformation.
And then we get to what is maybe the most radical and challenging command in the entire sermon. This goes against every natural human instinct for self-preservation, for justice. The command isn't just to, tolerate your enemies, but to actively love them and do good to them, because that reflects the character of God who shows mercy to everyone.
So if the goal is a transformed heart, how does that actually play out in real life? Jesus moves from our inner world to our outward practices, and he focuses on 2 key areas: sincere devotion and radical trust.
He gives 3 core examples. When you give to the needy, do it secretly, not for a round of public applause. When you pray, don't use flashy words to impress people. Just pray with sincere dependence, like the model he gives in the Lord's Prayer. And finally, don't let yourself be consumed by anxiety about your daily needs.
This right here is the central command that underpins that whole section. Jesus basically says that if you make God's kingdom and His way of doing things your primary pursuit, your number one priority, then all that stuff you worry about, like food and clothing, it'll be taken care of. It's a call to completely reorder your priorities.
And this brings us to the sermon's powerful conclusion. After laying out this entire blueprint for living, Jesus ends with a simple story that frames everything he just said as a foundational life-or-death choice. He tells this short parable about two men who each decide to build a house, and they represent the two possible responses to everything he has just taught. It's a tale of two builders, two houses, and two very, very different foundations. The process for the wise builder, it's incredibly straightforward. It's not complicated at all. First, he hears these teachings, but hearing isn't enough. Second, he puts them into practice. He does them. And the result? His life is built on a solid, unshakable rock.
And here's the payoff. The storm comes for both houses. Jesus is clear that life's trials, the rains and the floods, they are inevitable. The difference isn't the storm, it's the foundation. A life that's built on hearing and obeying these teachings is going to stand firm no matter what comes against it.
And that leaves us with a final, echoing question. You see, this sermon isn't just some ancient text to be admired. It's presented as a timeless blueprint. So the question it leaves for every single person is this: what are you building your life on, and what would it look like to start building on this rock today?